Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Get Woke with Danielle Moody. All right, so let's get into the latest lie from the Republican Party that is tied to a larger lie and tied to the biggest lie of the replacement theory. So, over the course of this campaign, what have we heard most from the Republican Party? Well, we've heard that crime is out of hand, that cities are just unlivable, and that white women in the suburbs, need to shelter in place until Donald Trump comes out and protects them, right? And what's funny is that we've heard this time and time again. We hear it from Republicans when they're sitting on CNN. We hear it from Donald Trump and JD Vance when they're on the stump and at various rallies. The funny thing is, the FBI came out with a full-blown report that tells us, in fact, that crime is down. It is down across all forms of crime that we account for. Take a listen to this reporter.
Yeah, Brianna, we saw during the 2020 pandemic that crime levels had spiked in various different areas, but we're now continuing to see this decline. New figures released today by the FBI, they looked at January to June of 2024, and what they found, as you mentioned, murders are down 23%, reported rapes are down 18%, looking at violent crime, that now appears to be down about 10%, so all, good directions there.
You see here, friends, the fact is that logic and facts don't matter, because by the time a lie is around the corner, the truth hasn't even gotten out of the car yet. And that's what Donald Trump and JD Vance and the Republicans understand, is that so long as they keep saying these things over and over and over again, it doesn't matter if regular people don't see them with their own eyes. What they're able to do is ratchet up the fear, right? Which makes you believe that something is wrong and, oh my God, Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to help me. They're going to save me. So what lie is this connected to? Well, it's connected to the lies that they tell about immigrants. Oh, these immigrants that are coming into the country, they're all rapists and murderers. They're all, sleeping on people's lawns and stealing people's jobs and pets and all of the crazy things that they're saying. It doesn't matter whether or not these things are true. It doesn't matter that there are multiple officials that came out in Springfield, Ohio, and in other places that are denouncing the lies and the claims that Donald Trump and the Republican Party are making. Why? Because the lie is already down the block. And what they are doing is feeding into the sentiments of racism and white resentment that we don't address. And what does that feed into? The ultimate lie of the replacement theory. What you have heard me talk about and you have heard on other places and stations, right? Because it is a common belief inside of Republican circles that the white race is dwindling, right? White women are not producing white babies. And you have all of these black and brown people coming in from all over, and they're going to, quote unquote, replace them. So what do these crazed white folks need to do? They need to stop abortion. They need to take away a woman's bodily autonomy, economic freedom, the ability to divorce, right? All of these things, folks, are inside of Project 2025 so that they can sustain, right, the white race. So when Donald Trump and the Republican Party is out there flapping their gums about crime, that is their euphemism for the demographic shift. And what they are seeding is by saying that crime is out of control and attaching that to black and brown bodies, and these people coming in from over the borders in caravans that we don't know where they're coming from or what they're about, you're able to plant the seeds of fear and anxiety and also scarcity. Because scarcity is the magic tool of the Republican Party. They at one time want you to believe that America is this wonderful, magical, great place, but only if you're white, Christian, straight, hetero, cis, name it. If you look like them, pray like them, love like them, and fall in line in the way that they tell you to, then this place can be perfect. Otherwise, it's carnage and a shithole, according to the Republican Party. And so they create this fear, this anxiety, they feed it with their lies, and then the rest of us are left to combat all of this insane noise with little dribbles of the truth. It kills me where we are right now. It kills me that you have reporters that are asking Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, well, what about the crime rate? Knowing good goddamn well that the crime rate is down. But they're asking these questions that are basically Republican talking points, not because they're trying to provide any of us with any more information, but because they're trying to, as J.D. Vance so eloquently said, create a narrative. Much in the same way that Democrats are put on the defensive about the economy, meanwhile, it is Democratic administrations that have bailed out this country from Republican economic disasters since before Reagan. If the vice president becomes the president of the United States, she will be the first Democrat in decades that is not having to dig out of a Republican economic downturn. When Biden and Kamala Harris came into office, sure, everybody wants to talk about, well, it was COVID. No, Donald Trump was torpedoing our economy well before COVID hit. And so this may be the first time that we don't have to do all of this heavy lifting to do an economic turnaround because Biden and Harris already have it in a good place. The point that I'm making is that mainstream media feeds off of the Republican lies. It fuels their clickbait, it feeds their advertisers, and their insatiable shareholders and CEOs. But the stories that they're telling are just that. They're stories. They're not the truth. And what I'm nervous about in this upcoming election in, by the time that you watch this, 33 days, is that how can we break through a tornado that has been gaining speed, gaining traction for the last nearly decade? That's what we're up against. And I find that whenever you're defending yourself, right, you're losing. So the thing is that we have to do, what we need to do, whenever the Republicans and Donald Trump bring up crime, is that we need to just throw up their mugshots of all the best people that Donald Trump has around him. Like here. Donald Trump has been on a crime spree his entire life, but definitely over the last 8 years. And there are a whole cadre of people around him with mugshots, and most recently, Rudy Giuliani being disbarred to show it. whatever you do, folks, in these next 33 exhausting days, do not fall for the rope-a-dope. That is it for me today, dear friends, on Get Woke with Danielle Moody. I will be back on Saturday with our Woke Woman of the Week. Who will it be? Tell me who you think it should be in the comments below. As always, power to the people and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke and sane.